think that's going to work well. And from small acorns do the mighty oaks grow. And,
You're
well,
talking to a half centenarian here.
well, you're 69, I'm 66. So, there it is.
Don't
Uh,
overdo it, mate. Oh, blimey. 50 is enough for now. No, it's good. It's all good. I
yeah,
think we're. Hold on. Let me just check. We're going out. I think we're going out. I think we're going out. Oh, yeah. It was a. I'll tell you, it was an amazing. For me, that was an incredible chat because to hear about it from these guys right there,
yeah,
particularly about the experience of being in the firing line, um, they really summed it up quite remarkably, and that is, I find it amazing the cynicism of of these bloody politicians that could be doing that. I mean, so basically, what they said was that Blair traded their service,
yeah,
their duty, and Dan said he was what, fifth generation
yeah,
in the military.
yeah.
Traded that, all of that heartfelt duty. Um,
Service and passing all the selection bits and bobs. Yeah,
Incredible.
for political prowess.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable.
I mean,
And then McGuinness gets to have a chat with old Queenie and in a state banquet. I mean,
yeah,
all of that. Hold on a sec. Let me just heartfelt. There we go. Got rid of that feedback. We got some folks here, and there was now who was it? Was calling in. There's one or two points that were made tonight that haven't yet been brought up that needed to be brought up. I felt, and so I'm hoping that we can do that now with some of the comments as well.
okay. No,
Um,
sure. To be expanded on.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I mean, what I continue to be astonished by, you got these lads. You look at Matt, you look at Dan. They've done their duty. Lo and behold, when they signed the contract for service, did they ever expect in a million years? Nor did their training instructor, their staff sergeant major, you name it, expect them to be prosecuted or investigated um, 40 years later. I mean,
yeah,
it is absolutely bloody unbelievable.
yeah. It is beggars belief.
Yeah, and but Ollie, who is going to pick up the pieces, and actually, what plan is in place to affect change?
Well,
It should,
it sounds as though there are some plans there. Carry on, please. Carry on.
well, I was going to say these plans are not going to be originated via the Palace of Westminster. Funnily enough, the grassroots come through your organ, which let me be very
Hey,
quick.
row. I know this is late
Be
night,
very
but
no, no. Be very quick to find.
it's all right.
Uh,
You can talk about me,
uh,
organ. That's all right.
is the daily Brexit. If we need to raise money, you will bring awareness to issues that count. And on the bare face of it, this is an issue which absolutely counts. Soldiers who've had bits blown off them, blah blah blah. Society has turned its back, um, uh, whilst it prosecutes. I mean, God knows. Um, Transgressions of identification of transgender, blah blah blah, you name it. And these lads need looking after. Who is going to look after them? I mean, Dan's movement, he speaks with enormous passion, but the reality is, I think he's slightly naive in respect of what he's going to encounter as an achievement. What, Ollie, you can do on this platform is considerable.
Well, what we can
Just
all
by bringing the message. Don't have to agree with us. You can wholeheartedly disagree, but nonetheless, it's a voice.
Yeah, well, we got to all do what we can. I mean, that it was Cameron said, wasn't it? We're all in it together. I don't think he gave a stuff about any of that, but some of us do.
Yeah, well, it's easy when you come out of Eton and you shag a pig's face. Welcome as the Bullingdon Club. I mean, let's not muck around here.
He did. He's a porcine premier. The porcine premier.
Yeah. And why not? It's good old.
Yeah, a bit of porcine effing. Sorry, it's late night.
Yeah.
Late night one.
Yeah, but the key thing is you want to be leader of our nation. You take into account our institutions, which are multitude. And Her Majesty's Armed Forces are one of our institutions. I've never counted myself, Olly, as a citizen. I'm not, and never have been, or will be, fingers crossed, a citizen.
Go on.
I'm a subject of Her Majesty. If you look at the inside left fold cover of your passport, you are defined as a subject of Her Majesty that will be protected in various ports.
Let me just see if I can get that right. Lower third. Okay, I've changed that. Hold on a sec. I'm going to pull up I'm going to get my EU passport. Have a quick look. Have a quick look at that.
I can't see you. Funny enough, all I can see is myself in some kind of Machiavellian portrait.
No, you look good. You look good.
Really?
No, you do look very Shakespearean. Yeah. Okay, I've got my passport here. What are you looking at then? Are you looking at the show? It's a bit. Hold on. That's better. That's more late night like that. There we go. Now okay. I can't see my passport. I can't see anything anyway. My eyes are so bad. Where does it say that in the front? Her Britannic Majesty's Secretary of State. Hold on. Who is the Secretary of State at the moment? God, it could be like.
It doesn't matter. It is an appointee on behalf of Her Majesty's government.
Oh, blimey! If some of them got their way, it would be Diane Abbott. Can you believe that?
Oh God!
Requests and requires, in the name of Her Majesty, all those whom it may concern, to allow the bearer to pass freely, without let or hindrance, and to afford the bearer such assistance and protection as may be necessary. And then on the other side it says European Union.
Do you know what? I prefer to go with the left hand a bit, and I invariably bring my wife to tears when challenged. And you got 40 booths at Gatwick, and only 2 of them are working, in the sense that you've only got 2 people doing their job. And one of them asked me, and sir, where have you just come from? It's like, well, I'm arriving back to my country.
You're unfair. They work hard at Gatwick security.
Well, yeah, but it's they need to be taught a lesson or two. And invariably, my wife bursts into tears because I'm rather hard over. I'm back in my country, and no, sir, that's not the question. The question was, where have you come from? And I said, well, off an aircraft. They then go, no, that wasn't the answer. Where have you come from? It's like none of your fucking business. So we are after 22.
Yeah, no, this is late night. This is late night. This is a bit of bonus. So
it's
children are allowed.
It's none of your fucking business. And all of a sudden, I can see them winking at the officer across the way, as it were. We got a problem here.
Yeah.
Invariably, and it's
no,
sir. Which country have you come from? It's again my response, stalwart, is none of your fucking business. Read my passport. You are not providing let, and you are providing hindrance as an obstruction. So you know what? And do you know what?
What do they say?
Better. Well, I
they lock you up.
just to bring the torture even further to my poor darling wife at this stage, who's in tears, with Delphina in escrow, as it were. It's well. I'm about to perform a citizen's arrest on you for breaching the terms of my passport. Now, get out of the way, fuck off, and there it is. That is my usual entrance via South Terminal, Gatwick.
I'm sure you're very popular. So, but does that line work? Because it should do, according to your passport. Yeah.
Well, the answer is it does, and most people ought to use it when challenged by some half-wit. Saying
okay, go on.
No, I was going to say, you get some halfwit who challenges you on either nationality or questions you. It's like you have no right. Just read the bloody passport you've been given, mate, and take on immigration as you re-enter the country. Any let or hindrance, it's in front of you, Olly. You have your passport in front of you.
Yeah, I do. With my Ryanair thing that they shove on the back of it. Look at that, Ryanair bloody. How dare they stick these things on? And you try and pull it off, and then you got loads of sticky stuff left, and you stick it in your pocket, and then it's got a load of tobacco on it. And sorry, hush. This is a Hushed Tones Billy Bonus actually, because the missus is about to go to bed and all that, and already in hot soup. It's her birthday in 15 minutes. I'm in Spain, so an hour ahead. Yeah, got to be good. But let's face it, I'm going to get in hot soup anyway. She doesn't know that we're doing this. But look, okay, let's just get the business out of the way, and then we can have another glass of vino or whatever. What is going on with Robin Tilbrook? There have been some reports that he's been receiving death threats. Which is quite disturbing.
I'm overdue a catch up with Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Putting the death threats to one side, and as you would appreciate, given the proximity and happy relationship with Hereford, TT Special Air Service, Robin's personal security is not really in question. That's
Yeah. He's a bit of a hunter himself, isn't he? He's got a collection of. He came on the show. We did a show, I don't know, a few weeks ago or something, and he was wearing his hunting jacket.
Oh God, yeah! And in the background, in the show you did 2 weeks ago, he's got some musket loading, or black powder
blunderbuss.
Yeah, in the background on his wall.
And that's just his wife. Sorry, no, that was a joke. Yeah.
Yeah. The reality in the Tilbrook case is that Theresa May, unbeknownst to the general populace, actually has signed away a gem, and it will be for Robin to announce. But effectively, the last extension included 2 clauses, which are rather interesting. And let me just grab my mobile phone and bring them up.
You just gave me a great thought as well. I'll come on to that. I've just had a great thought. I've got a telephone number for, I'm not going to say who, but...
Okay, whoever it is. Call. Okay, yeah. In essence... The last extension to October 30th prohibits the British government from entertaining any further negotiation the current Withdrawal Act.
Yeah.
Now, that is a gem which has not been publicised, but which is now in the public domain.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is that Theresa May, in her desperation in March, hang on a sec. This might be Robinette's wife. Okay, hang on a sec.
All right.
Interface, wifey. I'm on air. Can't speak to you. Speak shortly. Love you. Bye.
Got to sort them out.
Do you know what? No, it's called husbandry. There you go.
Right.
Old-fashioned concept, but brought into the 20th
I
century.
thought that was farming. Sorry. Right.
Yes. No. Well, husbandry. It's sort of, bring up family.
Bring up the family.
Anyway.
There you go. Yeah.
So the absolutely mission critical as far as the Conservative Party is concerned is an ex-prime minister has signed up to an EU agreement which is already beyond her control. She was not allowed to extend by way of executive authority an extension, but in that extension to October 31st, it means there is no further discussion or negotiation by agreement with the EU of anything. I mean, it's absolutely bloody staggering.
I did read something about this earlier. I haven't got the news tabs open now. What was? So there was some story I saw that was something along the lines of there can be no further negotiation. But I thought that was just rhetoric coming from the EU playing, I don't know, hardball.
No, it's part of the signed agreement.
What signed agreement?
Well, the extension to October 31st, as I read it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Theresa May has a signed agreement, which is beyond her power, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, one of the codicils to that agreement to October 31st is that Britain will not extend or attempt to negotiate beyond the withdrawal agreement that's already been laid out.
But that agreement hasn't been verified in any way. It's redundant.
You're absolutely correct. And what that underpins in evidence is, in actual fact, the government's inability to enter into amendment of treaty per the Gina Miller case. You need to go to Parliament first for primary legislation. And she failed to do that.
And then to the Lords and enact an act.
Yeah, and then Her Majesty, for the Royal Seal. None of that has been enacted. All it takes for Brexit on WTO terms is for the Prime Minister to, the new Prime Minister, enter office, do absolutely bugger all until October 31st.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we're out.
Which is perfect for Boris, because he could just carry on, shagging whatever he do. I don't know, do a Bullingdon thing or something, and
I think
have a good time. It'd be perfect. That's what we need. We need a PM that does nothing. Basically, spends all his time down Soho House.
Well, yeah, absolutely spot on. That's what we want from the Prime Minister, as opposed to Theresa May. And I've got to say, Olly, you've been extraordinarily kind.
Yeah, sorry. Go on. Yep.
I was going to say, you've been extraordinarily kind about Theresa May in your Facebook comments. The reality is,
sure?
I think she is a traitor. Her tears of self-condolence are exactly that.
I did feel for her a bit. It was the first time when I questioned whether or not she actually was a psychopath. When I saw her crying, people said, there were crocodile tears. I don't know. I get, maybe I was just being too kind. I think,
Olly, you were being much too kind. It's the same as weeping over a picture of Adolf Hitler weeping because one of his vegetarian dogs has died.
Yeah.
Elsa or Elsie. It's like, oh well, I feel so sorry for him. It's not deserved. There it is. Theresa May. I mean, funny enough, how the hell do you get a woman out of a house? Theresa May is the reason that you have expensive divorce lawyers to make sure that the missus actually does leave the family home, even though you've got to winkle her out with a sharp metal spike.
Aye, aye. She'd be a brilliant fire alarm. She'd be enough to get you out of the building.
Mm. No, when you go away on holiday, she's the person who's going to spend. She will persuade the burglars to leave the house and leave her inside.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, blimey. Oh dear. Okay, so this agreement. What was this agreement? You're saying that she signed an agreement on the quiet.
Yep, on the quiet.
So, okay, what do I need to search for to find this?
Okay.
I have got my news tabs open now, but it's going to be buried by now.
No, I'm going to send to you right now. Hang on a sec.
Please, thank you. I just gave a couple of stories that maybe look interesting. I'll just chuck them in while you're looking for that. Dominic Greaves shamed after claiming he would accept results.
That's why I keep on making the point
referendum.
that the better course of action is to have a referendum. In that referendum, you can put to the public the available choices, which at the moment are the deal which our present Prime Minister has negotiated, but which very few people seem to like, but it was done in good faith. Remain, which is clearly a viable option, and people are entitled to change their mind.
Yeah,
and there is quite a lot of evidence from polling that some people have changed their mind. And finally, you can put some form of no-deal Brexit, although I would like to emphasise that no-deal Brexit is a fairly meaningless term.
No, hold on a sec. It's not no deal. There is no such thing as no deal. This is hushed tone, yeah? No rant.
Yep.
This time of night.
By the way, Ollie, you just received the update from Robin.
Okay.
In response to that little
There's no such thing as a no deal. There's no such thing. There's a WTO deal, yeah? Tried and tested with, pretty much the entire world trades on it. 70 countries trade on it one way or another. It is not crashing out. It's a soft landing, and then you can build on from it. Anyway, this is Grieve calling it a no deal.
If it is to be promised to the electorate, then those who are promising it need to make pretty clear before this referendum takes place and on a ballot paper what it is that they are in fact offering. But subject to that, even though I happen to think it's very damaging, I would be prepared to see such a question on the ballot paper. And
we'd be prepared to kick you up the arse. He sounds as though he hasn't got his teeth in there.
Do you know, Ollie, it's that shank of the evening where I feel slightly relaxed and prepared to take on personal terms. You listen to Dominic Grieve and that funny little voice. I'm prepared to accept. It's like, who the fuck are you to prepare to accept anything? You miserable little cunt.
He is, isn't he?
The reality.
He is.
I'm prepared to accept on the ballot paper. It's like, stick it in your ass and go fuck yourself. The acronym for which is See Ya Agfi.
Basically.
And there it is.
The what not? Oh, yeah, blimey. Can you believe, and Burko as well earlier, that is worth pointing out again, that John Burko sparking fury by vowing to block a no-deal Brexit should Prime Minister Theresa May's successor put the scenario on the table. The Speaker of the House of Commons sensationally dismissed top contender for Mrs May's coveted role, Boris Johnson, who said the UK will leave on 31st of October, deal or no deal. You see, even he's doing it. Even he's saying it's no deal. You can't trust any of them. Why can't they use our language to describe what is reality? There is a deal in place, a WTO deal. It's not no deal. It's no specific deal with the EU, but it's a deal with the world.
Yes, and we've turned back on Commonwealth.
Yes.
You look at these Commonwealth countries who are absolutely desperate to do business with us. You look at Mozambique, a massive oil find on the eastern Indian Ocean shore. I hesitate to use the word belong to us. They want us to steer Commonwealth countries to prosperity. Fuck, this little Luxembourgian and the Krauts. You know what? The unions responsible for auto manufacture in Germany can't wait for this Brexit issue to be sorted out so we can do a bloody deal, because the majority of their profits are earned on right-hand side vehicles, which is sold to us.
Right, yeah, which is sold to us.
Yeah, well, Olly, if you want to buy
Mozambican cars.
Well, do you know what? Take your pick of Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes.
Is that a Mazda?
No. If you look on the internet, what's it going to cost you in where you live in Spain, Valencia, versus what it's going to cost a British purchaser? You could do the price comparison right now on Google. The reality is we have been stiffed for years by the German automotive industry, who recognise the value of the British market. You get picked up at the airport in Cairo, it will be a Mercedes that picks you up. Guaranteed, that taxi driver has not paid the same price for his Mercedes taxi as a British taxi driver in the UK.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Right. So you've sent me this. Where did you send it? Did you send it on Skype, Facebook, WhatsApp?
I've sent it via
I can't keep up with
email.
all this stuff.
Yeah. I can send it whichever
way
you want.
But... I can check. I can check my email. You send it in email?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll have a look in there. All right. I tell you, communication thwarts me.
Oh, you know what? Likewise.
If only we had one. No. That would be a monopoly, wouldn't it? It's good to have all these different. The email client is opening up. There we go.
There you go. Hang on. I'm just making sure that.
Here we go. I've got it. News update, Rodri. Weekly roundup. Is that what you sent me?
Weekly roundup, and it should have two paragraphs.
Shall I just read this? Sometime on Thursday last week, Facebook disabled my Robin Tilbrook personal profile. So this was originally from Robin, yeah? The first I knew about this was when I tried to sign on to check if I had any messages. I was then told that the account had been disabled. Facebook is well aware of my being involved in politics, as a few months ago they had written to me to ask for me to sign up to what they describe as something along the lines of double identity verification for political figures, which would then allow me to place political adverts. I had done this, and I had also placed a few political adverts. So, the situation is my profile has been disabled, and this has happened in the context where I have only been posting information up about the case. I had not even posted up very much about the English Democrats and myself having stood in the EU elections. That is, of course, because the primary reason for standing in the EU elections was to publicise the case. Since what I am aiming to achieve with the case is that a declaration that we're actually out and that therefore these elections are null and void. In response to this activity, Facebook has disabled my profile without notice and without giving any explanation as to why they have behaved in this way, and without providing a proper appeals process. That's right, as we know, because we've all been jailed, banned, whatever, from Facebook over, something or other. Could this have anything to do with Facebook's international/globalist agenda and of their appointment as a director of Nick Clegg of the bollocks to Brexit Liberal Democrats? I've never heard Robin swear before. Prompted by the Liberal Democrats.
He's in training. Olly, very quickly, actually, I just sent you by email, which you should have in your phone, the one I originally intend to send, which is item from Twitter, which demonstrates the government's position re Europe and the extension. And what that very clearly says, everyone was so embroiled in the Palace of Westminster with an extension to Brexit, no deal, plus deal, what have you, that in actual fact, the British government is prevented from negotiating or opening up any negotiation re-Brexit. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that you've now got that on your mail. Item from Twitter.
Are you being rude again?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Well, not yet.
I just got ticked off by the missus, mate. Just got ticked off. Oh, here we go. Item from Twitter. All right. Okay. Yes. Item from Twitter. This is interesting. It seems May had one last roll of the dice that everyone overlooked when they gleefully accepted the last Article 50 extension. Yep. She probably didn't envisage she would be out of number 10, so signed up to a little gem which prevents any negotiation during the extension. Is there supposed to be an attachment with this, Rodri?
The answer is, I'm not entirely sure, but nonetheless.
But that is very. But she can't do that constitutionally, can she? She cannot bind the hands of. Well, the next government is supposed to be, but presumably it's the same deal. The next prime minister, no?
You're absolutely correct. In the sense that, first of all, she can't bind the hands of the nation without an act of Parliament. Second of all,
you're breaking up a bit, Rodri. You need to get that microphone a wee bit closer to you.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Okay. In the first instance, she signed something which she had not the authority to do. Sounds like old English, but she did not have the authority as Prime Minister, demonstrated by the Gina Miller court case, to sign up to this little gem, which is paragraph 12. This extension excludes any reopening of the withdrawal agreement, is the headline. I mean, this is absolutely.
Hold on. Where is this? Where can I read this? Where can I read this?
I just sent you the email.
Yeah, well, that was just the Twitter message there. That was all item from Twitter.
Right. If you open it up.
Show remote content. There we go. Okay, thank you. That is how email works. I knew there was a trick to it. Right. Okay, let me read this. I'll just repeat that first bit because it sums it up, I suppose. This is interesting. It seems May had one last roll of the dice that everyone overlooked when they gleefully accepted the last Article 50 extension. This is from Robin originally, yeah? Mr. Tilbrook. She probably didn't envisage she would be out of number 10, so signed up to a little gem which prevents any negotiation during the extension. Which prevents any negotiation during the extension. Now, hold on. Why would she want to prevent any negotiation during the extension is the first question. Because she wants a withdrawal agreement, irrespective of who's overseeing it. Well, give or take, no. She certainly wanted her withdrawal agreement to go through. She was trying to put it through for Cortina Mark IV, wasn't she? So,
John, so the message that she sent to Europe is there can be no additional extension, negotiation. It's my deal or the highway.
Right. Okay, I'm with you. Okay. And so now there are 3 clauses. So where do these clauses come from? There are 3 clauses that Robin has put in this email to you.
Yep. Which are the clauses that have just been disclosed by government.
And they are contained within what document?
Well, that's a very good question. This would be the application for extension document, is our belief.
Abdication for extension document.
No,
application for right. Okay, let me read these. So there's clauses 12, 13, and 14, or paragraphs or whatever. 12. This extension excludes any reopening of the withdrawal agreement. Any unilateral commitment, statement, or other act by the United Kingdom should be compatible with the letter and the spirit of the withdrawal agreement. Duplicitous bitch is just a phrase that's coming into my mind here as I read this, and must not hamper its implementation. Such an extension cannot be used to start negotiations on the future relationship. Such an extension cannot be used to start negotiations on the future. In other words, you can't restart. You can't go back and say, you know what, we're talking trade, or you can bugger off, for example. Okay, that's 12. 13, the European Council will review progress at its meeting in June 2019. And 14, as provided for in Article 50, Clause 4, TEU. What's TEU, Rodri? Do you know?
It's given the nature of my mind, it's probably something very rude.
It's probably something in Article 50. So something in the Lisbon Treaty in Article 50,
correct.
Clause 4, TEU. Go on.
I was going to say what's interesting about this is that this has not been disclosed to the public. What our Prime Minister has, as an executive decision, has undertaken, has not been through the Houses.
Dictatorially.
Sorry?
Dictatorially.
Yes, absolutely. Under her hand, it binds us in that we can't open any negotiation her deal. That's why she was so desperate to get it through.
Okay, let me finish this clause. As provided for in Article 50, Clause 4, TEU, the United Kingdom has not taken part in the discussions of the European Council concerning this decision, nor in its adoption. However, as set out in the letter from the permanent representative of the UK to the European Union, I didn't know there was such a title but that is capital P, capital R, permanent representative of the UK to the European Union, Sir Tim Barrow of the 11th of April 2019. It has agreed, the EU, I guess that is, it has agreed in accordance with Article 53 TEU to the extension of the period referred to in that article and to this decision. Okay, so basically that's saying that they're allowing for the extension. So it's that first, number 12. This extension excludes any reopening of the withdrawal agreement. That sentence sums it up.
Yeah. And that's what's been hidden from the British public and is an exclusive on the Brexit Daily.
Daily Brexit, but yes.
Sorry, Daily Brexit.
It's all right. It's not daily anyway. In fact, it's thrice daily today, thanks to the power cut earlier. Oh, blimey! I need a pee now. Should we have just a couple of minutes break and refill our wine glasses and then come back and slag off Theresa May like a couple of Trojans?
John, entirely up to you.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me just sort out some really dodgy music just to annoy everybody. I'll see if I can find something that Nick Clegg will particularly hate. Let me see. What about this one? Here we go. A couple of minutes, people. A couple of minutes. Yeah. Roger, you're still on camera, so don't do anything naughty or salacious.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you can if you like. In fact, we might get some good viewers. Hold on. Right. Okay. Quite loud. Yeah. Right. Okay. What was it? How was it they invented cognac? Port. No, port. Oh no, I've given it away now. You will know this. I mean, drunk as a lord and all that.
Yeah.
Viscount St Davids, how was port invented? Because I think I've just done it. Because I mixed wine with Dalmore, 15 years old.
With spirit. Basically, sherry and port was a way of preserving wine using higher spirit. And when delivered, for example, in Dickensian days, you would have half a bottle of port for breakfast, but it was diluted.
Quite right.
Yeah.
Diluted. Oh dear. They were soft.
So, all right. Well, okay.
Probably not.
If you look at rum in the Royal Navy, I can't remember what the allocation was, but basically it was diluted by 50%. It
was a tot.
A tot, yeah. But you were allowed a couple of tots. I think it was your daily ration, and again, it was diluted.
Yes.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, look at that! I've just got a message. Merkel is Hitler's daughter. I don't think that she is. I don't think she is Steve from Bourne-End. I'm not going to say who that is, but that's my mate Steve. Steve from Bourne-End. God bless you. If you're watching, God bless you, Steve. He's a geezer, Steve. I like him a lot. Yes, but there is that picture. I mean, okay, good, okay. We've worked out the whiskey thing. There is that picture of Merkel with May when they were teenagers or something, and there was a third girl there. I don't know who that was. It doesn't look like Hillary Clinton. But there was at least the two of them. They were together as teenagers, and that, I don't know if it was photoshopped or what. But okay, this is concerning though. Or it would be, but I just can't take it seriously. How can that be constitutional? This extension excludes any reopening of the withdrawal agreement. How can that possibly be legal?
Apparently it bears Theresa May's signature. Therefore, on behalf of Her Britannic Majesty, it is a response to the EU. Whether it's legal or not is not a matter. But the reality is,
do they have that kind of presidential weight? I didn't think a prime minister had that much weight.
Well, the answer is, with the Gina Miller case, the answer is no. Royal prerogative, i.e. executive power, has been removed from number 10 Downing Street. What this moron has done is well beyond, her gift. Simple as that.
Yes.
And it's an absolute gem for us. Any the Tilbrook case.
Funnily enough, it's so ironic, isn't it? The Gina Miller case may be the reason that your case wins.
Yeah. And I'll be delighted to shake hands with Gina Miller. It's let the best man win. I don't think that's going to go down terribly well, but there it is.
That is quite something. That is very interesting. I did see that. They did put that out there earlier. I saw that, but I just looked at it and thought, that looks like a lot of crap. It just looked like some rhetoric coming out of Brussels or something. But according to Robin, who's a guy, he's a clever bloke.
Yeah. He's methodical and he's legal.
Yes.
And he knows his stuff. And he would not have distributed that lightly.
No, he wouldn't. I agree. Anne Jones is asking, Olly, please confirm if new PM is bound by May's secret treaty agreement. Quite right, Anne. Absolutely right. And the question constitutionally, the answer constitutionally or
is no.
Traditionally is no.
Well, in answer to Anne's question, the government cannot do anything without an act of Parliament in respect of an international treaty, which is the Treaty of Lisbon. Simple as that. So there can be no secret agreement or secret arrangement. Olly, what I've just sent you has not been made public, but it is a public document, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Oh, that's total fake stream media for you, isn't it? And I think it has been made public. I don't know. I didn't read the story. I just saw the headline earlier. I kind of suspect it has, but it's just been chucked in at, number 52 on the running order sort of thing.
Yeah, after the Bake Off, results and God knows what.
Yeah, Love Island and God knows.
Precisely. Divorce Island or Adultery Island or
that's right.
Pornography Island.
Prozac Island or something.
Yeah, exactly. But the reality is the government has entered into an agreement which the government in question, Theresa May, as Prime Minister, she's exceeded herself, i.e. she did not have the power to enter into any such agreement, but the fact that she has is demonstrative of her taking the royal prerogative that was denied to her under Gina Miller. Simple as that.
So the bottom line is, as I think we know, we've witnessed, particularly with Burko, and the way he has dismissed Erskine May's rulebook. They're making it up as they go along. They are rewriting the law as they go along, but they're doing it within a way that they can arguably, legally, get away with. But they are playing the boundaries of British law more than we have ever seen before. Would that be fair to say that?
The answer is you're absolutely correct. However, when no one has issued a
I don't want to be
challenge
correct there. I want to be wrong. I want to be very wrong.
Well, the point is, Ollie, is that no one has issued an effective challenge. And if we go back to the
But we have
unpronounceable
politicized
bird,
courts. Sorry. Carry on. That's the next question.
wearing the Peckham Rolex. At what point is it described?
Peterborough woman.
Yeah. Wherein is it described in precedent that Burkow actually has it within his remit and gift to give her the vote, which is against common law. She's serving a criminal sentence. She doesn't have the bloody vote.
But it's in Burko's, what's the word? In his remit.
It is, but no one's challenged that.
But nobody's challenged it. But it is in his remit to decide whether or not she is allowed to vote now, despite the fact that she's a crook.
Ollie, no one has challenged his remit. All he
this is
done,
the deciding vote in the Yvette Cooper bill. And what's the name that just got out a clink off the back of
Uka Wonga Bunga.
Go on.
Is deprived of the vote. No one has challenged the remit of the Speaker of the House of Commons. All we've been told is that it is within his perceived discretion, which are two very interesting words.
Perceived discretion, yes.
And discretion, none of which, in actual fact, are contained within statute. And perceived, well, that's a rather interesting word. And discretion, none of which are specific.
It's disgusting, isn't it? It is absolutely disgusting what we're saying.
It's absolutely appalling, and no one's taken him on head on.
Is it fair to say, in your opinion, you understand the Constitution a lot better than I do, at least, and the way Parliament works, that we have over the centuries since Oliver Cromwell, the Civil War, come to have a faith in parliamentary procedure, and that now that faith has been pissed on,
evaporated. I think is the word you're searching for. The answer is yes.
Disrespected.
Well, I would say evaporated, actually.
But yes, I agree with you. But in a court of law, that doesn't stand up, does it? Because that's like, well, you know what? There's nothing there. You ain't got nothing to stand on. So far as that's concerned, apart from coming back to Gina Miller, and that does say something.
Yes, it does. Ironically, in respect of court judgments, every time a judge makes a ruling, funny enough, Ollie, I in the early hours of Sunday morning, complained to the Attorney General under the unduly lenient sentencing program for this lad who killed two people whilst under the influence of cannabis. His father was Thames Valley Police, I think, inspector, and he got 100 hours as his sentence, shroud of media cover, i.e. the media were not allowed to report on it, and he got 100 hours of community service, having killed 2 people in broad daylight. High as a kite. Now, if you were the sentencing judge, Olly, just give me a quick brief as to which way your mind would be going in respect of a sentence.
Years in prison, 10 plus at least, but depending on the reason they were inebriated and stuff like that, and how much manslaughter-ish it was as opposed to murder.
Well, not murder, it was manslaughter. I mean, clearly, the lad who got high as a kite, he's got 4 previous possession of drugs, and he's run over and killed 2 people. I don't think for a moment the lad intended to do it, but nonetheless, 2 people are dead. That could be your daughter, your wife,
right,
your father-in-law, your brother, you name it.
So really the question is, how much of a responsible citizen are you, and how much of a mindless idiot are you, sort of thing, really?
Well, in actual fact, how bent is the law when it comes to prosecution? This lad got 100 hours of community service,
it's a joke.
which is less than I received, albeit, I did break the law. I put my hand up to it. I broke the speed limit by 170 miles an hour.
Most of us would have regarded as a funny joke, and that most people were thinking anyway. That's not the point, actually. But yes, you said something that most of us regarded as a funny joke, and that we actually tended to agree with at the time. That's not the point. The second point of that, but
no.
It was on Dick Emery every week. That kind of joke.
Of course it was, and it was in the summation.
You got 12 weeks for it, and so he gets 100 hours. You might as well have been sent to church for a month.
Yeah. For killing 2 people, and it was the case was taken away from the Crown Courts and the CPS. I find that really quite astonishing. I don't mind having done the 12 weeks, sentence in respect of Gina Miller. Turned out quite interesting, actually. But the notion that a lad who really does need to learn, and he does deserve punishment, has got 100 hours of community service, having killed 2 people.
It just goes to show the breakdown of British values, really. I mean, it's just another example of that. It's like Tracy Blackwell's case. It's like the law is just not taken seriously. We used to take life. Life used to be a lot more precious, no?
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
In the UK.
And frankly, it should be. That's why people come to our country. Fun enough, Saturday night, sitting playing Monopoly with a daughter, Delphina, who's age 7, and she was playing the role of banker, and she took the opportunity to throw a handful of £1 notes, Monopoly money, at me. I said, darling, you know what? In certain countries, if you were to behave like that, you would be killed. And she looked at me, absolutely astonished. And she said, killed? As in, they would take my life. I said, darling, absolutely. For the simple reason, you've just demonstrated a lack of fundamental respect for another person's life. Don't think because you're being brought up in Belgravia that in actual fact people are brought up in a different way on the other side of the planet. You show fundamental respect to all. The 3 key phrases that will sustain you through any prison sentence: thank you, please, and excuse me. You think you're Billy Big Bollocks in jail? No one is. Don't forget, dear old Al Capone had the shit kicked out of him because he thought he was Billy Big Bollocks in Alcatraz. Lo and behold, no. You play by the humanitarian game, which is showing respect and decency to your fellow inmates. And some of the most beautiful experiences I had in jail, in very harsh circumstances, came as a consequence of that.
I'm just saving this because folks wanted to see it. This extension excludes 3 clauses. I'm just saving it. So
okay.
Yeah. So hold on.
Olly, it's an absolute humdinger.
Yeah, no, I think that this needs to be shared about a bit. Huh? It needs to be shared about a bit.
It most certainly does. And the problem is that British media have been warned of the Tilbrook case, told it's a blanket ban, don't cover it, and it's like, well, hang on, this is an exclusion via what's the expression?
I don't seem to be able to share it. Sorry, go on. I don't seem to be able to share it. I don't seem to be able to share it in a comment because I can't add an image there, and it is an image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it on my timeline.
Yeah.
And then people can pick it up there. Facebook.com/OllyCon or Daily Brexit. I'll post it there as well. Just bear with me. Sorry, Rodri, go on, mate.
I mean, Olly, what we're trying to do is to get this covered by mainstream media. Right now, mainstream media, for whatever reason, are controlled by. I hate conspiracy theorists and theories.
What, you didn't like my power outage theory that it was because we were talking about banging up Tony Blair?
Well,
sorry.
Well, doubtless it will be Beverell, who inadvertently has dropped the power source. The reality is, I find it astonishing that these facts are not being made available to the British public. And you don't have to extend your imagination. What did the Prime Minister sign in order to get the extension? Well, Olly, you got the missing 3 paragraphs that were not put on the front page of The Sun, The Mirror, The Express, The Telegraph, The Times, Sky News, etc., etc. Why not? They're absolutely crucial to the negotiation with Europe, which, as far as I'm concerned, is no longer a negotiation. You fucked it up, we fucked it up. Let's just leave on equal terms, saving ourselves, by the way, £39 billion. Now, Olly, in your mind, how would you spend £39 billion in the UK versus just handing it over to Europe?
How would we spend it? Oh, probably
in your mind,
get a few more police on the streets to begin with to stop people chucking bricks about. Things like that would be useful. Yeah, that would be a start. Education. I mean, investing in a decent curriculum that wasn't full of shit. That would be pretty nice. And I think probably, the army, actually, they need a few quid, don't they? They do. I mean, we heard that tonight.
Defense spending. Absolutely.
Matt had a fantastic rant about that in the last 10 or so minutes of part 1 of the show before the power outage. That was, I mean, what he said was amazing. I mean, sacking a captain from HMS Elizabeth, the biggest ship in the world.
He's a Commodore. He's more than a captain.
He's a Commodore.
He's a Commodore.
And they sacked him. They sacked him because somebody used his car, used his staff car.
His wife used his staff car for a school run.
And they probably need to get the kids to school, irrespective. And I imagine that, and there was, it's just a fucking joke. So that captain, how much did we invest? Sorry, that Commodore. How much has Great Britain invested in that guy's training that some idiot in SW1 can just say, you know what, we're going to sack this bloke because he shouldn't use the car. What is the motivation to sack that person for what is a stupid misdemeanor. I understand. Well, I don't know. I didn't read. I didn't read the whole story, but I did see some headline or whatever, and it, apparently his wife or whatever used the car a few times. Who cares? You know what? If it was 100 times, compared to the value of what we have invested in that guy, that we would put him in charge of the biggest ship in our arsenal, apart from nuclear weapons. The biggest ship.
And this ship, the Queen Elizabeth II, is a £2.5 billion vessel,
yes,
which is nuclear capable. The cost of the Commodore's training will, in my guesstimate, so not to put the MOD in any issue, my guesstimate is that it's cost the nation about £3 million to train him up to where he is.
Really?
And yeah. Oh Christ! I mean,
so we just throw that away. We just throw that away over a few school trips.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a decent man.
That is just. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be using. Maybe you should. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice. I don't know. Maybe they should have a company car. Whatever. I mean, for crying out loud, it's just out of all proportion. Is the point, isn't it?
It's absolute nonsense.
I think we could invest that 39 billion, which in reality is probably a lot more, one way and another.
Yeah,
probably considerably more. The truth be known, I hate to think how much more. We could, I'm sure, invest that in much better. Okay, I've got a question for you, Rodri.
Okay.
Might we not stumble? So far as the British public's perception is concerned, so far as the British government is concerned, not stumble at all into the Lisbon Treaty.
So what you're presuming, in actual fact, is that we haven't completed a clean Brexit. Is what you're implying.
If we've got a politicised judiciary, if Robin's case doesn't work, if we can't hold this government to the account of the democratic will of the British people, then might we not end up being told, rightly or wrongly, that we are bound by the Lisbon Treaty?
Well, you use two interesting words, rightly or wrongly. Mm-hmm. And what this country generally is rather good at is rightly.
Yeah.
Even though it's been rather disparate in recent decades. As a purist, how can we be caught into the Lisbon Treaty? Well, the reality is that we've served our notice, Article 50. As you've seen, an extension comes with a few horns, which is no renegotiation of the Withdrawal Act. The point at which we are out,
according to the PM's wish. But yes, we've discussed that. Carry on, please.
Yeah, the point at which we are out. It's going to be interesting to see whatever legal challenge may remain, claiming that we're not out. It's either, if we're out, the Lisbon Treaty ceases to have any effect whatsoever. And that is the purpose of Article 50. Very simple. There are no tail ends that force us to remain within the EU or within its tentacles beyond that. Unless there's something which you can show me, Olly, which is contrary.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. It was late, and I didn't get that. I was reading the comments. I wasn't paying attention.
Don't worry. Okay.
Say that again. Say that again, please.
Okay. I'll speed it up.
I apologise. No, don't. Slowly is better for me. But carry on.
All right. We have triggered Article 50. Article 50 represents a division, a very clean cut away from the EU.
Yes.
I cannot see how, having triggered Article 50, these lands in Europe can maintain any hangover from the Lisbon Treaty into the UK. I don't see where it's going to come from.
That's what they're going to try and push, though, isn't it? I can see it coming. That's the next thing. That's the next stage of the takeover. I mean, well, the next stage of the takeover is the kind of stuff that I suppose Blair is pushing now. All that crap, like, you know, we've got to have a second vote and all that. And I don't know how they can get away with that, actually, now. I don't know how they can possibly get away with that. It sounds just complete denial, delusion. But down the road, isn't the end game going to be something along the lines of, it's too late?
Well, Ollie, taking the first point, I think actually the membership of the EU are looking at Brexit right now and actually more concerted with Italian Brexit or Italian exit, Grecian exit.
Well, Syriza are a bunch of turncoats, but Italy, yes, and France maybe, huh?
Well,
if they get a vote that isn't rigged at the next election in France, then you would think that Macron would be kicked into touch.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you know, there is a mood. I mean, you know, what is the EU? The EU basically was a trade agreement, which all of a sudden has become a crypto country, a bit like cryptocurrency.
But Rod, these guys they're desperate. They're cornered tigers, and they are prepared to go the whole hog. They're prepared to lie. I mean, we think it's bad now. I mean, even back then, he took us in. He was almost certainly a paedophile, it seems to me. And that he was blackmailed, and he won that Charlemagne Prize. We covered this. I discussed this. And he was bribed and blackmailed to get us in. It seems to me. I mean, I don't know. Wiltshire's top cop. He said he was 120% sure that the Prime Minister was a paedophile. We know what Fortescue said. The Heath's whip. How MPs were depraved MPs, child rapist MPs were blackmailed into supporting government policy. That was the government that took us into the EEC.
Yes.
And we that was then. And now they're on the verge of ruling over us all and having our military and having our nuclear deterrent and French and basically, you know, ruling over us. And if there's you know, sort of a bit of a riot here or there, well, they can just bung in some, I don't know, German police or some police from a force that doesn't care about the locals, and our police or army, whatever, will be over in a different place. We are so close to that kind of tyranny when you think about it, and at that stage, we're fucked.
The answer is you're absolutely correct. However, the point about Brexit Daily or Daily Brexit, excuse my
it's all right, doesn't matter. Daily chaos, that'll be good.
Daily chaos, is that we are repelling what we don't believe in, and that result could not be more apparent than in the Brexit result. In you know, Farage, we've had enough. We are not going to be led by the nose. And
okay, the question there then is Farage on side? Because a lot of people are saying that this is all just a put-up job. The Brexit Party is a put-up job. It's just another way to stall us. You know, it's like, yeah, the Tories, they don't care about imploding because they know that they're not going to have party politics that means anything anyway, because Westminster doesn't mean a thing off the back of Lisbon Treaty. and the Brexit Party is just an illusion. It's like something to keep us entertained for now, and then down the road. Now, I'm not saying that I believe this. I want to think the best of people. I want to think the best of people in the Brexit Party. I want to think the best of Nigel Farage. But on the other hand, we are so close to the edge that it would be churlish not to consider such a matter.
No, do you know what? In respect of trench warfare, this is what's been discussed in the trenches of the Tilbrook case. You know what? You know absolutely if we don't win, which is highly unlikely, bluntly, that there is something wrong in the state, to quote Shakespeare.
But we know there's something highly wrong in the state already, don't we?
The answer is yes, but who's doing anything about it?
Well, we are.
The answer is yes. And the more people who actually do something about the situation, the better. Frankly, I was appalled that there
are 65 people watching this show, mate. If I go over to YouTube, we've got another 36. So there's 100 people watching this show. 17.4 million people voted for Brexit.
Yeah.
Where are they? We really, 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 really have to be getting out the message, people. We really have to be getting out the message.
Olly, we are. From the to quote Dante, from the little spark burst the mighty flame. The reality is, from modest beginnings, we have one lawsuit against the government, and that in itself is astonishing. Why is it that Robin Tilbrook is the only lawyer to have lodged a place in the High Court? You would have thought there'd be many more, but it's this mentality, well, if something is wrong in the state, someone else will do something about it. It's just, it's the handover politique. Someone else will take care of it, surely, if it's big enough. Well, guess what? We are the guys on the fucking ground dealing with it.
I just wish there were more.
Do you know what? And that is the challenge: is to make sure there are more in support. And that's where our fight lies. And Olly, I wish we had 1.5 million supporters right now. It would make life a hell of a lot easier, particularly at home with wifey. But the reality is we don't. But do we stop fighting? Of course we don't. We will.
No, damn right we don't. Absolutely,
yeah.
Sir.
And
I can't think of anything better to do.
Well, and this evening you were introduced to Matt Hellier, Squadron Sergeant Major of A Squadron, 2 Special Air Service. He's used to fighting against very difficult odds.
Yeah.
And
what had he done?
Where we
300 operations that guy had done.
Oh yeah.
That is.
I mean, he's a hell of a lad, and he's never left any of his own behind. Any injured or wounded soldiers, Matt has been absolutely on top of them. They're coming home.
He's got a. I saw a picture of him on his timeline down there. Somebody had sent him. He didn't publish it himself. Yeah. He's got a chest full of medals. That guy.
Oh, I mean, Matt is everything you expect from the Special Air Service. Delighted.
What's the difference between the 22 and the 21 and the 23 SAS?
Okay, 21, 23, and they've all been reorganized under this fantastic, clever reorganization system. Is 21 are the artist rifles, territorial, 23 territorial, 22 are the regular
Right.
full-time Special Air Service.
Right. Okay. So that is the SAS. The 22 is the only one that truly is the SAS. The other ones are part-timers.
Well,
I'm not saying that. I'm not belittling them. I'm not belittling them. Not at all.
And one really shouldn't. I mean, to get into 2-1 or 2-3 Special Air Service is a task in itself. I mean, it really is. These guys are absolutely top-notch. Take them off the shelf. You'll be delighted to see them if you've been kidnapped by Al-Kebab or whatever it is in Nigeria, or whichever movement happens to be operating in.
The bloke in the, you don't want to get kidnapped by the bloke in the kebab shop. You go one of those. Get threatened with a lemon kebab, lamb kebab. Yeah, blimey. But I mean, all of them. That to me, that was incredible. Hearing what those guys were saying, Dan and Matt, about serving in Northern Ireland, and they just summed it up. That is the ultimate Blitz spirit. It seems to me, to just doing that. No wonder they are. I mean, that is brethren, isn't it? That is brethren.
Well, Matt said something actually which is should be expanded upon. Is that the British Armed Forces are there for the preservation of life, and if you take that to the extreme, the Special Air Service, a lot of commentators would like to make the Special Air Service seem like, trained assassins, blah blah blah. Nothing could be further from the truth. These guys want to save your life. If a baddie crosses the path, well, that's a baddie. He's going to be dispatched. They're highly trained to do it. There it is. But the reality is, the motto, who dares wins, could be subjugated to preservation of life. That's what these guys care about. To get through selection, they're not looking for the biggest hard ass on the planet. They're looking for someone who is immensely fit, immensely tough, but also in subsequent training, has a degree of humanity, which defines the man, the soldier. If you don't have that, forget it. You're passed off.
What do you think about this? I can't remember his name. That guy, one of these leadership candidates. He looks like Willem Dafoe out of.
Oh, you're thinking of Rory Stewart?
Yeah, that's right. He does, doesn't he? He looks a bit like William Dafoe out of. Whatnot, the Vietnam movie, the Oliver Stone movie, Platoon. Platoon. I listened to him. I listened to him on Newsnight last night, and I thought he said a lot of crap, to be honest with you. But
I agree.
But on the other hand, I mean, this is a guy who you would think would be the kind of politician that would get behind Soldier A to Z.
Do you know what? I think Rory Stewart, for my money, is up his own jacksie. Ain't going to pass the first round, the first cut in the leadership elections. I don't trust him to tie my shoelaces, and he plays too heavily on the military card. Bluntly.
What about that Johnny Mercer? Now, a lot of people in the comments earlier, they said, well, you don't think much of him. But what would you say about Johnny Mercer? Is he actually running? He got some accolades from the boys tonight.
Well, Mercer, don't really know. To be frank, Hancock is now.
Isn't Mercer the one that put forward that bill recently? I think Dan started mentioning it. It was a debate in the Commons about the 20th or something. If somebody can remind me, I'd be interested to. It was some armed force. It might well have been about Soldier Act.
Do you know what? I'll look him up. Current display of personal ignorance. I don't know who he is. What I will say is that Hancock, the sooner he crashes and burns, frankly, the better.
Oh, Nick
Stupid
Hancock.
little man. I mean, really.
I think the one I'm worried about all of them, but I heard that Jeremy, it's late night, isn't it? Yeah, Jeremy Hunt. I'll be kind. I heard him on Radio 4 this morning.
Is appropriately named for someone who has Tourette's. I think he's a total cunt and he can fuck off. Shove it up his own jacksie. Ignorant little prick who's never had anything to do with the real world. There it is. So that's my comment on him. Next.
Okay, yes. I mean, what a cunt.
Yeah.
I was listening to on Radio 4 this morning thinking this bloke is just another Theresa May.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't give a shit. Will say anything.
Mm.
And I have to say, I've thought that since the first time I saw him in public life. I just thought that guy's a lick spittle.
Yep.
Okay, who can we talk positively about? Anybody in this leadership?
Yep.
What not?
The answer is yeah. I think if Boris can be trusted, he's got everything running for him. He's got the personality, and if we look back to the Olympics, the time
he did well, particularly on that ripcord. That was funny, and that's the best place for a politician.
the
high and dry.
The answer is yes. I mean, but if you given the choice, Olly, we don't have much of a choice, to be frank. Dominic Raab, do we really trust him?
He's a bit of a posh boy. He's to me, I'm not sure that he's really got true. He's a bit too much suburban middle class for my liking, to be honest with you. Says he who is suburban middle class, but I turned out all right. I'm not sure that he has.
John, I agree with you, which means that we are left with Bojo. Simple as that. Does he have the gonads to make the statement, we are leaving Europe, we will return like Batman, to negotiate the deals which suit us. Over to you, lads, across the water. My guess is that he is our only and our best bet. Gov, you got to hand it to him. Here's a guy who stabbed his best mate. Gov, he stabbed his best mate in the chest on the day of the bloody leadership election. And here he is, 48 hours ago, waffling on about what a great choice, Bojo would make.
Yeah,
and then 24 hours on, I'm putting my hat in the ring.
I have heard another side to that story. Yeah, I have heard. This is hushed tones. Daily Brexit. Yeah, hushed tones, which is fast turning into ASMR. Billy Bonus, because my wife is complaining. Yeah, and it's also her birthday. So I'm going to get my nuts roasted here. But this is too important. We can't stop here. Gove. When you think about it, Rodri got the pronunciation right. Gov. It even stands for government, and government means mind control.
Olly, you need to take care of wifey. Send my best regards. Can't wait to meet up with in London. But it is time to call a line under the show, and happy birthday to La Senora Connolly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. God bless you. Yeah. I think that was code for piss off.
It's code for decent husbandry. Not quite Henry VIII style.
Let's face it, I'm not going to get me out. That's been and by the way, people have said Steve Baker. Okay, last word. Steve Baker.
I like him enormously. Is he electable? The answer is Olly. There's no way he's getting through the gates of the regime.
That's the truth of it, isn't it?
Do you know what? Unfortunately, I would love to see Steve Baker in the seat.
We're playing the long game. We're playing the very long game. I'm just very worried that Lisbon will kick in first.
Well, if we get Bojo on an honest count, it's game show and over. If that's what we get.
You know what we're relying on here? We are relying on deselections and defections.
Yeah. Do you know what? I agree with you. And also, Robin having put his wedge in.
Yes.
That has not come to the fore yet. And having that in there right now.
When is the court case going to start? When are we going to hear a date?
Do you know what? That's exactly what I'm pushing Robin for.
The government has said it's not. No, sorry. The courts have said it's not urgent.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
It's not urgent. Oh, it's only the country. It's not urgent.
Do you know what? I agree with you. The key thing is the publicity that we get, and addressing publicity will come from America. Is my cunning plan.
Yes, thank goodness he's going to get his second term. Can you imagine if Hillary bloody Clinton had been president over this time? I mean, we would be nowhere near where we are.
Yeah. But to have British news reported by the Wall Street Journal as the primary source of information, I think we'll actually start to turn some heads. And that's the only option we got, Olly, frankly.
I just restarted the outro because right, okay, Rodri, have a good night, sir. God bless you. You're falling off your chair. I can see you there. Yeah. I've got another glass of whiskey. Yeah. And by the way, I can't normally afford a 15-year-old bottle of whiskey. Yeah, this was a 50th birthday present. In other words, for crying out loud, donate to the show. What is it? PayPal.me/. Hold on a sec. I'm getting. He's got his tab. He's got his tab open. Leave that. Yeah, there you go. Belly bonus, hushed tones. Not hushed enough for the wife. But you know what? She's an amazing bird. Yeah, she's Spanish. Yeah, and she supports this show. Do you know what I mean?
How long have you been married?
You got to choose them wisely.
Married?
Hey?
How long have you been married?
Effectively 22 years.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I know.
I've been quite well. I've been married for 16.
16?
Right.
Cool, blimey, mate. Good on you. Yeah. No, we only made it official about 12 years ago. Yeah. And even then I didn't invite the family. Isle of Skye. nice elopement. Our witnesses were a couple of sheep. That has been daily Billy bonus, yeah. Hushed tones, Billy bonus. Hey, go on.
I'm going to bed.
God bless you, Rodders. God bless you, mate. Nighty night. Sleep tight. Don't give up, people. Don't give up. Not allowed. remember that our grandparents, and in some cases maybe your parents, they had it a lot worse than we've got it right now. Keep going. 99. See you tomorrow, 7 o'clock.